Hello, I'm Didi. I'm from my crochet project. This is a tutorial about how to make these beautiful squares or tiles in the Norwegian designs. We start in January with the crochet along, the Tunisian crochet along vintage Norwegian tiles. Every month there are 4 different patterns with original Norwegian designs. And you can make these lovely tiles with them. What did I use for it? I used the Scheepjes Metropolis yarn. It's a fingering yarn or a sock yarn. And each ball is 10 grams. 10 grams. I think it won't zoom in. Yes, 10 grams and 40 meters. And there was some yarn left when I made these two. So I think you need 60 meters and something like 15 grams of fingering or sock yarn. I bought a complete box of these tiny balls, and I will use the complete box this year to make all different colors of squares, and in the end of the year we will make a blanket or a cardigan with it. So stay tuned, and every month there will be a tutorial to show you how to do it. With 2 balls you can make these 2 tiles, and you see that I have used the main color white here and the opposite color, the main color purple, here. You can use every yarn what you like, but please choose contrasting colors, because then the pattern will pop up very nice, and when the colors are close to one another you won't see it very good, but well, please try. It's your own project, just so you can take whatever you want to make these. It's the Tunisian crochet, so that's why you need a Tunisian hook, or a hook with a long length, so that you can fit the stitches of the tile at it. I've used a 4.5 millimeter hook, but that depends on the yarn you use, of course. And for this yarn, this is the perfect hook. Well, I make the purple one in this video, so let's start, and then I can show you. So we start with 25 chain stitches, just normal crochet chain stitches. So 25, 1, 25 chain stitches. Row 1 is turn your chain and then skip the first bulb, little bulb at the back. Take the second one, and in Tunisian crochet we just are getting up loops. So at that the back side of this chain, just insert your hook here and pull up the yarn. So at the end of the row you need to have 25 stitches at your hook. 25 stitches at your hook. In this way of Tunisian crochet, and in most of the Tunisian crochet ways, you have a forward pass and a backward pass. This was the forward pass of row 1, and the backward pass is in all the tiles exactly the same. The first stitch is just grab the yarn and pull through 1 loop. So again, this was the 25th stitch. Grab the yarn through 1 loop, so it's like a single crochet. Grab the yarn again and then pull through 2. Pull through 2, and the whole way back is grab the yarn and get it through 2 loops, just till we reach the start, the first chain. So all the way back. So the way back is quite relaxing, isn't it? Through 2. I try to do it easy so you can see what I'm doing. And and when the video continues it will be quicker, and maybe this way back there's no need to film that every time because it's every time exactly the same. Okay, in this chart of this pattern, it starts with 2 rows in the same color. We have made 1 row, we have to finish it, and finishing the first row, you do that by working the second row. So how do I explain it? I have explained it in the video about explaining the chart as well, but when you make a row, you make loops on your hook, and those loops are actually the stitch for the row, and you finish the row you have done before. So in this row we are working row 2 and we are finishing row 1. So working row 2, there are no signs at the chart, so that means there's only simple stitches, and the simple stitch was, I will zoom in to show you the stitch once more. You have the loop of the stitch here, the complete loop. There's the half at the front and half at the back. The simple stitch is just insert your hook in the front loop and pull up the yarn like this, you see. So this is what I was trying to explain to you. You finish the first stitch, so you finish the first row and you make the second row with the loops at the hook. I will zoom out like this. And then we continue to the end. 25 simple stitches in this row, so that is very easy. Don't pull the yarn too tight, just leave it very loose. As we are working in 2 colors, it's important that you have a relaxed yarn in your hand. 25 stitches until the end. Actually 24, because the last stitch is the corner stitch, and I will show you how that one will look like. So this was the 24th stitch. I'll zoom it again, and the last stitch is here is the last stitch. You turn your work like this and you see at the side a little V. This is the first loop of the V, and behind that, the first stitch is a little difficult, but I will show you in the next row as well. And there is the and there is the second loop. So the first loop and the second loop are just at the side of your work. You get the yarn through those 2 loops, and like I explained you before, for the way back, the first stitch is always a kind of single crochet on top of that one, and then you grab the yarn and get it through 2 all the way back to the beginning. And this was row 2. So the first 2 rows were 1 color, and the third row is a color change. How do we do the color change? You take your new yarn, you still have 2 stitches at your hook from the way back, and the yarn you were working with, you hold it like this. Then you grab your new yarn and get a loop through those 2 loops. When you do it like this, the side of your tile will look beautiful after a few rows. I will show you, and it is just the same as the last stitch, so that's important that you do it like this. Now we have changed our color. The third row is again only simple stitches, and how do you see that? There is no V and no O at the chart. There's just a plain box, and the plain boxes are just simple stitches. When you see the chart, you see that I have switched the colors because I already made the white purple one, so now I'm making a purple white one. And then when you do that with this chart, it's important that you don't look at the colors in the chart, because then well, you will make mistakes, because I'm in the white row now and the chart says it's a purple row. So when you change the colors, it's important that you just look at the signs in the chart. So just look at the plain boxes, the V boxes and the O boxes. And when you do that and you don't look at the color, you can't make any mistakes. And you can use any color you want to make the tile. So just check the boxes, what's in it, plain, a V or a O. And when you can't remember how those stitches look like, there are separate videos about these 3 stitches too, to make it as easy as possible for you to make these tiles, as this is January, and well, I'm sure when you've made a few, it will be nice and easy. 24 stitches. The last stitch is turn your work, and now you see it a little better. I will take a needle to show you. And that is easily said, but I have to dig it out of my box. And when you turn your work to the side, you see that here is the V of last row, and that's the stitch we are going to use. Like this. And we get the yarn through. And one, well, I will name it a single crochet on top. So then you see that there's a nice color change at the side. So from now on, grab yarn and get the hook through too. Just the way back till we are at the start again, and at the start of the last 2 stitches. And when you are at those last 2 stitches, you hold the yarn at your hook, grab the new color from below, so the old yarn is on top and the new yarn comes from below, and get it through 2 loops like this. So you see the sides have the color change here as well. So in row 4 the fun begins, because in row 4 we need some other stitches too. And when we check the pattern, it starts with a V stitch, and for this row I will zoom in a little bit so that you can see the new stitches very well. And the V stitch in the first stitch is actually the most difficult stitch of the complete pattern. So there was a hair there. You can find the stitch the best when you stretch the work a little bit, because we need the V, and the V starts here in the back. You see, here is the loop we need. Here is the loop we need. And I promise the other stitches are more easy, but the first stitch we need the 2 legs of the stitch, and we have to dig those legs out. Get the hook through and put that single crochet on top. That is really important, because you have to stretch the stitch. I have zoomed in the camera, so I'm out of sight, so I tried to show you. I'm sorry. The single crochet on top of it is very important. So we start with that V stitch, and now you see that the second stitch is far more easy. I'm sorry, because there the V is more visible, because it's here. You see this leg and this leg. So the first stitch is really difficult, but the second, it's more easy. Get the yarn through and put that single crochet on top like this. So 2 V stitches, then 2 simple stitches, I'm sorry. We are doing Tunisian crochet. After that, the V stitch. So you just have, for this, the V stitches have to see here this leg and that leg. See? And that's why a pointy crochet hook is easy to work with. 3 simple stitches. and then a V-stitch again. See? So the first stitch is difficult, but the stitches after that are far more easy to work. 2 simple stitches, 1 V-stitch. So in this row we only have 2 different stitches, the simple stitch and the V-stitch. This was the center stitch. After this, Minnie, our little Pomeranian, is playing around. She sounds really dangerous, as you can hear. And then a V-stitch again, like this. 2 simple stitches. Minnie, wat ben je aan het doen? Split the yarn. Take care. I think the postman is coming. 2 V-stitches at the end of the row. And when we have done the last 2 V-stitches, turn your work and take the last stitch like this and put 1 single crochet on top. And the way back the same as the other 2 rows. So we are at that last stitch again. Hold the yarn along with your hook and grab the new color from below and get it through the 2 stitches. And then we're ready for the next row, and the next row is row 5. In this row we need all the stitches we know for this way to crochet, and we start with 3 simple stitches. So the simple stitches like we did before in the front loop. 3 simple stitches like this. Then we have a V-stitch, and we grab the 2 legs of the V-stitch and get it through with the single crochet on top. And then after this V-stitch we have the first O stitch of this pattern, and like I explained in the other video, you see that the V-stitch is on top. I will zoom in a little bit. The V-stitch is on top of a white stitch, and as we are working with white and the stitch in the row before is purple, we can't make a V-stitch because there are no 2 legs to grab. And to solve that problem we make a O stitch, and the O stitch is very simple because you just get your hook around the stitch. That's why I named it a O stitch. Grab the yarn and grab the yarn around and put a single crochet on top. And when you do that, you see that you are making exactly the same stitch as the V-stitch, only this one is on top of a purple one and this one is on top of a white one. So when you use these 2 stitches and the simple stitches, you can paint every pattern you like. And that's what I like so much about this way of Tunisian crochet. You can do with 2 colors, you can paint a complete pattern, and it looks like a Fair Isle knitting pattern. And you can use all Fair Isle knitting patterns or all knitting patterns in this way to crochet. So you can crochet knitting patterns. Well, I think that's really, really very nice. So after this, we made a V-stitch, then a simple stitch, and after the simple stitch, an O stitch. So again, the O stitches are on top of the opposite color, always. And when there is no opposite color and it's the same color like this, it's a V-stitch. So when you know what to do, it's actually very simple. 3 simple stitches and then a V-stitch. I am trying out how far I will zoom in the camera, as some people like to see the work very close, and other people like to have the camera a little bit further away. So I try to do it that most people like it. I unfortunately I cannot make everybody happy, because I will make one video and not a few, but I think this one is okay. A V and the O stitch again, a simple stitch after it, a V stitch. In a tutorial, it's for me it's important that I can see what they are doing, and I can imagine that's the same for you. And as I'm looking at my work and my chart, I sometimes forget to look at the camera, and that's why I slip out of sight. So the most important thing is that the camera is on my hands or on my work. And after this, 3 simple stitches to complete the row, and then that last stitch, flip your work, here is that V, get the yarn through and the single crochet on top. And now you can see very good what I meant with those last stitches. It's really beautiful, isn't it? And they look quite the same as at the start. Okay, and now the way back, and then you see me back at the start of the next row. Row 6, and row 6 starts with that V stitch again, and remember that is the V stitch in the first stitch, so that's a little hard to find, so stretch it out and then you see the V below. Here it is. Oh, and I split the yarn again, the V stitch, get the yarn through and the single crochet on top. Okay, 1 simple stitch, 1 V stitch, one O, 2 simple, 1 O, 2 simple, 1 O, 1 V, 1 simple, 1 V, 1 O, 2 simple stitches, 1 O, 2 simple stitches, 1 O, 1 V, 1 simple stitch, and the last stitch is a V stitch. Actually, this is the last stitch, the V stitch at the sides, and 1 single crochet on top. The way back, and you see me back in the next row. Okay, row 7, don't forget to change your color. Start with 1 simple stitch, after that a V stitch, an O stitch, and 2 simple stitches, 1 V, 1 O and 1 V, 2 simple stitches, 1 O, 1 V. Sometimes you have to dig the stitches out. 1 O, 2 simple stitches, 1 V, 1 O and 1 V again, 2 simple stitches, 1 O and 1 V, 1 simple stitch and the corner stitch to close the row, the way back, and then we continue in row 8. Row 8, we start with the first V stitch, and then an O just around the stitch, 2 simple stitches, 1 V, 1 O, 1 simple stitch, 1 O, 1 V, 2 simple stitches, 1 O, 2 simple stitches. This chart is kind of repeat of the stitches because the pattern isn't very large. It's just little patterns in one pattern, so that's why we have a lot of repeats. This was the V stitch. We continue with the O stitch, 1 simple, 1 O, 1 V, 2 simple stitches, 1 O, 1 V, and that last side stitch or corner stitch with 1 single crochet on top. Don't lose the stitch. Okay, row 8. We have changed the color into white and we are up to row 9. And row 9 starts with 2 simple stitches. I don't say that correctly. I'm so sorry. It starts with 1 simple stitch and then after that 1 O stitch just around the stitch. And then 1 simple stitch, a V, and a O. Then 3 simple stitches, 1, 2, 3, 1 O stitch, 1 V, 1 simple, 1 O, one simple, a V, an O, and then 3 simple stitches, 1, and don't split the yarn, 1, 2, and 3, an O stitch, a V stitch, a simple, and an O, and the last, a simple stitch, and then that corner stitch again, and we have finished row 9. Row 10, we are in purple again, and the first stitch is a V stitch, like this, 2 simple stitches, 1 and 2, an O stitch, 2 simple, a V stitch, two simple, 1 O, 3 simple, 1 O, and then split the yarn again around the stitch and around the complete stitch. Every time check what you're doing. 1 V after 2 simple stitches and 2 simple, 1 O, 2 simple, and the last V stitch. With the corner stitch to end the row. This was row 10 already. 11, and 11 starts with a simple stitch and a second simple stitch, a V, and after the V an O, one simple, 1 V, one simple, and 1 V again, 1 simple, 1 O, 1 V, one simple, 1 V, and 1 O, 1 simple, 1 V, 1 simple, 1 V, 1 simple, an O stitch, a V stitch, 2 simple ones, and the corner stitch to close the row. row 11, row 12. And of course, to continue the purple line, we need a V-stitch right here. Dig it out. Sometimes I grab it with the hook like this, and then I have one leg, and then I only have to grab the second leg. But find your way, what works for you. And this is what works for me. One simple stitch in the second stitch and an O in the third. After that, 2 simple stitches. We continue with an O, a V, and an O, like this. 2 simple stitches, an O, 1 simple, 1 O again, 2 simple, 1 O, 1 V, grab some yarn, 1 O, 2 simples, 1 O, 1 simple, and a V-stitch at the end of the row, and don't forget the last stitch at the side of your work. Look at this, how nice this is looking. The pattern is showing up really good. So this was row 12. We go up to row 13. Row 13 starts with 1 simple stitch. After that, a V, and an O. 3 simple stitches, one O, and 3 simple stitches. An O, a V, and an O. It's raining really hard outside here. It's Holland, so we have a lot of rain and wind, and well, in summer it's great, but our winters are long and dull. 3 simple stitches after this. So I don't know where you live now, but well, it's December here now. It's just before Christmas, and sometimes I think a white Christmas, that's the most perfect thing in my mind. White Christmas or a Christmas in the sun. A Christmas in, like in Australia, when you're walking in your shorts and then it's Christmas time. That must be a great feeling too. Maybe one day for a holiday. I have some friends in Australia now, because of our crochet actually. And Arunima from Knit and Lotter lives in Australia. Maybe one day we can meet. It is certainly a country where I'd like to go one day. Okay, we are at the end of row 13 again, and I didn't actually told you what I was doing, but you could see it. But I will repeat the row for you just in case my talking annoyed you. It was 1 simple, 1 V, 1 O, 3 simple, 1 O, 3 simple, 1 O, 1 V, 1 O, 3 simple, 1 O, 3 simple, 1 O, 1 V, and 1 simple stitch, and that is the complete row 13. Row 14, and we are over the half of the pattern, as the pattern is 25 rows. So this is really very quick again, isn't it? The first stitch is a V-stitch, a simple one. Then we are continuing with an O and 2 V's. I don't know why I am thinking about this, but it just feels like painting for me. Painting with colors. You paint the stitches in the rows below. It's really funny, isn't it? We are in 3 simple stitches now to paint the pattern. 2 V's. And 1 O around the stitch. After the O is 1 simple stitch, and then again an O and 2 V's. Three simple stitches. 1, 2, 3. 2 V's. 1, 2 V's, and an O, just like the start of this row. 1 simple stitch and a V stitch just before the corner stitch. Row 14. Row 15. We start in this row with 3 simple stitches. And then 2 O stitches. One simple, 1 V, 1 simple, and 2 O stitches. Three simple stitches. 2 O stitches. One simple, 1 V, 1 simple, 2 O's, and 3 simple stitches before the last corner stitch. So these are the stitches of row 15. We continue in row 16 and we start with 2 V stitches. That awful first stitch. 1 V and the second. 2 V stitches. 1 simple and 1 O. 2 simple and 1 O. 2 simple, 1 O, 1 simple and 1 V, one simple again, and an O, two simple, and an O, two simple, and an O. One simple and two V's. Only the last two loops, not the complete stitch. So this is row 16. Row 17 in white again, two simple stitches, one V, and one O, one simple, one V, one O, and one V, one simple, one O, one V, one simple, and then I think we're in the middle. Yes, we are. So we do exactly the same but mirrored. So that is a V and that is an O, a simple, a V, an O, and a V, a simple, an O, and a V, and two simple stitches as the last two stitches and the side stitch with the single crochet. Row 17. Row 18 starts with one V stitch. Here it is. One V stitch. And then another V stitch right next to this, and the O stitch next to that one. Two simples, an O, a V, and that V isn't correct, so I have to check. One moment. Yes, there was a little mistake in my chart. After the O stitch is a simple stitch, and then an O stitch next to it. It's good we test the charts because sometimes there are mistakes in it. Two simple stitches next to it, then we make an O, and here there is a V and the O next to it. Oh. And this is the middle. Then after that, two simple stitches, and then we get that O, and this time simple stitch in between and an O. And there was the mistakes at the start of this row. Two simple stitches, an O, and two V's, at the end of the row and the corner stitch. So this was row 18. Row 19, one simple stitch, 1 O, 2 simples, a V, and the O, a V, a simple, and an O, and a V. Two simple stitches, 1 O, 2 simple stitches, a V, an O, 1 simple, an O, and a V, and then 2 simple, 1 O, 1 simple, and close the row 19. Row 20, we start with that little V-stitch again. Maybe this is the best way. Grab it from behind, and then you only have to get a second leg. For the first stitch, this is my way. I feel I do it that way every time, so maybe for me that's the way it works best. 2 simple stitches, 1 V, and 1 O is where we continue with. And then after that, 3 simple stitches, 1, 2, 3, 1 O, 1 V, 3 simple stitches, 1 V, 1 O, 3 simple stitches, 1 O, 1 V, 2 simple stitches, and the last V-stitch of the row and a corner stitch. I will show you again. Row 20. Row 21. 2 simple stitches, a V and a O, a V and an O, 2 simple, a V, 2 simple, and an O and a V. One simple, and here we are in the middle, so we repeat mirrored, so that's why we start with a V and then the O stitch, 2 simples, 1 V, 2 simple, 1 O, 1 V, and 2 simple stitches. Look at this beautiful tile. Row 21. 22. We continue in purple. We continue in purple. I can't find the first loop. Yes, here it is. Come up. Yes. The first V-stitch. 1 simple, 1 O, 2 simple, 1 V, an O and a V, 1 V, 1 O and 1 V, 2 simple stitches, 1 O, 1 simple and 1 O, 2 simple, a V again, an O again, and a V again. 2 simple stitches, 1 O, 1 simple and 1 V. Up to row 23. We are nearly at the end. 23 starts with a simple stitch, then a V and then an O, 1 V and 1 O, 1 simple and again 1 V and 1 O, 1 simple and then the other way around, 1 O and 1 V, 1 simple and then an O, a V and an O in the center of our work. A simple, a V and an O, 1 simple, an O and a V, 1 simple, 1 O and 1 V, and 1 simple. Row 23. 24. That last awful V-stitch as the first stitch, and it is done. After that, 1 O-stitch. It's the last row where something happens. The last row is just simple stitches. 2 simple stitches, 1 O, 1 simple, 1 V, 1 simple, 1 O, 1 simple, and we are in the middle, I think. Let's see if I do that correct. 2 simple stitches, and the middle stitch is a no stitch. So after that, 2 simple stitches, 1 O, 1 simple, am I doing this right? I have to check, 1 moment. I miscounted. I had 3 simple stitches in the middle part, and it was 2 simple stitches and then the O. And then 2 simple stitches again. What is this when you're almost done, that it sometimes it seems that it don't work anymore? Look, this is good. 1 O stitch in the middle and 2 simple stitches at the sides. So then 1 O stitch again, 1 simple, 1 V, 1 simple, 1 O, 2 simple, 1 O, 1 V stitch. Right here, and the corner stitch. Row 24. At the end of row 24, we don't need to change color because the last 2 rows are purple. So we can cut the white yarn and just continue with purple, so we don't need a color change in this. The last row is very simple because it is just simple stitches all the way to the end. So that isn't too hard, is it? So all the way simple stitches to the end, a corner stitch, and then the backward pass. And then I see you back for the bind off row. 25 rows done. And as you can see, we started with 2 purple rows, and now we have done 1 complete purple row, and we have to finish that last row. And remember, when we're making a line, we finish the row below. So when we bind off, we finish this second purple row. Well, and the bind off row is very simple. When you have done some other Tunisian crochet with me, you know how to do it, but I will show you. You just make a simple stitch and then get it through that first loop as well. So a simple stitch and get it through. A simple stitch, get it through. And when you do it like this, there is a beautiful, nice row just on top, just the same as how we started, and it's the same at this side. And that's why these squares are reversible, and not this pattern, but some patterns are reversible, like in this way as well. I will measure this one. I think it's about 12 centimeters, and when we do it in yards, is this the yard? it's inches. It's 4.7, 4.6 inch. So it's a nice sized tile or square, whatever. So we continue this bind of row just till the end. And then you have made one, and well, as you prefer, you can make several more in this pattern. I switched colors in this, and I will show you when this one is blocked, because obviously this work needs blocking. I will show you the two tiles next to one another, then you can see the differences. So you can use the chart for any color you want, and when you like it, you like doing it, and you like to do some other charts as well, every month, like I told you at the start of the video, there will be 4 new charts available for 4 new original Norwegian or Scandinavian tiles. I will make a video of one of it, and when you like to have the others as well, it's available for a small amount at Ravelry. I put the link in the description below when you like to buy it, and thank you for that. And when you like my videos, you can press the follow button also in the description box below. And then you get a sign when I make other videos, because every month is the plan. I will make 2 tutorials, 1 tutorial of this tile in this 2-colored mosaic way to crochet, and I will make 1 video in the stranded Tunisian crochet, which looks a lot like knitting. When you want to try that one as well, there's a video available as well. And now I stop talking about all that, because I want to show you the last 2 stitches, because the last stitch is again at the side. Pull the yarn through, but remember to make that single crochet on top of it, because then these stitches are next to each other, and then you can get the stitch through. You see, then you have a nice squared corner, and I make 1 extra single crochet to make it a little tight. You won't notice that when you attach the squares, you won't notice that, and you get the yarn through. See, it's just a little bulb, but this one, when you don't do that, well, you see what happens. It doesn't really matter, but for me this is the way to do it. Well, we have a nice square here. I will block it and show you the 2 next to one another. And for now, I want to thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, this tutorial. My plan is to make the next videos silenced, just to try, because then I can video them when my husband is watching TV. And maybe you can watch them when your partner or husband is watching, or wife is watching TV, and it's not disturbing. So I will make them silenced, and you can see what I'm doing, and I try to put the pattern in the description box or in the row below what I am doing. But that is for the next video from February. This was the video of January. Again, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.